What?
How now, brown cow?
I said this reminds me of Vietnam.
Why?
Because Vietnam was a French colony for so long that they taught Vietnamese French pastry. And so whenever you're staying in a hotel in Vietnam, they have these just like the most exquisite French pastries out as like a regular breakfast. And they are so good. So
would you say that this EJ's Bake Shop macaron, would you say that it's on par or beyond?
It is. That again, it brings back a memory, right?
Yeah, you did. You said this reminds me of Vietnam.
It brings back a memory, so it has to be at least that good, right? Or even better.
Pretty wild, huh?
Yep.
You want to hear? You want to hear the new rap song?
We have a new rap song. Did what's his name? Who's my boy?
Suck my combat cock, I get the drop. You gon' flop when this AR pop. Try me jerk, I got the shirt that says I ain't gon' stop. And if it jams, oh well, bitch, I'll change to the clock. Pop made in the motherfucking USA. Train to survive, stay alive, watching you get played.
See, you can work with it, right?
The music is pretty good. The vocals are pretty good, but the background music is a little 1980s. You know, what was that thing that you would buy at Walmart that you have the keyboard and you can push the button?
Keyboard?
Yeah, I think they need to swoop up that background music a little better.
It's actually going through a real studio and shit.
That's a real studio?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
No, that's the beat.
Well, is this even we're not doing...
Strapped to the limit, yeah, we ready for war. And so we take to go get what, let's see what's in the store. We got everything you need to drop our shells on the floor. If it's time for violence, pop out, leave them dead at the door. Turn them into a memory.
So I like showing that because it's so rough and raw. And then when you see the final product, so that we kind of have the evolution of it. He put all that together in 10 minutes. I don't know.
Have you seen the... You probably haven't seen, or maybe you have, because you do look at TikTok every now and then. There is a black artist who does it's like he's in a studio, and he'll look and he'll be like, "What are we doing?" And then it's the dude with the stocking over his head, and he's like, he does like. He takes Christmas songs and turns them into gangster rap songs. And
okay, so Taylor I haven't Swift seen that one.
Oh, it's so hilarious.
But there's a lot of dudes on TikTok doing that.
Yeah, it's so hilarious.
Yeah, they play both characters.
Yeah.
Pulling.
Wait, I thought we were doing Patreon first.
Okay, yeah, let's pause. Let me get my computer out and we'll do Patreon, because Patreon, we owe those guys. We came up short last time and we have some good questions this week. So this has been Pulling the Thread, episode 62, that we're going to take a break and do Patreon. Yeah. If you were Patreon, but you would know that. All right, Mark 2. What's up? What's going on? What you been doing this week?
What have I been doing? Shooting guns.
Lots of guns?
Mm-hmm.
Thousands of rounds of ammunition?
Not thousands. 500s. 22, 9mm, 7.62 by 39.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
AK stuff, huh? You shooting that out of like a bolt gun?
I have not done bolt gun this week. I was gonna.
7.62 by 39 bolt gun?
I'm sure they make one.
Oh, Ruger makes one. Ruger 77 synthetic stock.
Yeah, I'm sure they make one, but no.
You ever see
7.62 by 39 is notoriously inaccurate.
Have you ever seen 7.62 by 39 with no head stamps, blank cases?
Have I ever seen 7.62 by 39? I believe that at one point in time I had some.
Yeah, Bell Laboratories, some think tank, fucking had all this.
I believe at
headless.
One time I had some.
It's supposed to be some ninja, some secret stuff.
Yeah, the problem is when people do ninja shit, they think they're doing something ninja, right? But the ninja thing that they do is the thing that points to exactly whose shit it is, right? It's yeah.
I wasn't there, but I'm here telling you about it right now. So apparently,
yeah. So there's a good example of that in Vietnam when the LRPs and the long range reconnaissance guys were going out into North Vietnam. Jungle boots obviously make a distinct pattern, and so we probably spent millions of dollars on developing these jungle boots that had a footprint on the bottom of it, right? So it was just a bare foot, because again, that's what people were walking around barefoot in Vietnam, and so it was just this barefoot. Well, you would end up with a footprint
with the boot on
with
top.
a outline of a boot around the back of it, or after use, a chunk of the foot would come out. So it would end up being this thing that would definitely point to, these are the Americans here running around with some crazy ass fucking boot. And so what we did,
they should have had Bigfoot shoes.
It would have been cool if they'd done big or dinosaurs' feet, and that'd be really funny. So what they did though to alleviate the problem is they just got American-sized jungle boots, and they flew over all the villages and just dropped jungle boots out. So the villagers would then end up wearing the boots, cutting the soles off and shit like that, and making shoes out of them. And so now everybody's walking around in jungle boots.
Yeah, interesting.
So there's ways around. We do all kinds of crazy shit. We spend a lot of money on stuff, and then we're like,
Anything current events that concerns you or piques your interest currently?
There is a lawsuit in Florida that is getting no coverage about fluoride. Fluoride in the water. Yes, fluoride in the water. And it looks like the government is going to lose the case.
So what do you know about it?
I mean, basically a consortium is suing. I don't know if it's the state or the feds. It has to be the feds because the CDC is there. They are the ones that are arguing for fluoride in the water. And
interesting. After this much information against fluoride, that they are actually still publicly facing trying to put the poison in there. Again,
the government currently has to. The U.S. government has to.
Because if they come out and go, yeah, we fucked you guys all these years?
Because currently the Canadian and the British government are thinking about starting up fluoride programs based off of our research.
Really?
Yes. And so they can't not defend it, because then we're talking millions of dollars that are in, probably billions of dollars nowadays that are being invested into these type of programs. But the interesting thing is they have a poison. It's like the poison entomologist, the guy, right? Mm-hmm. For the government.
Says no go.
For the government. He's up there and he's talking about safety parameters and blah, 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 and blah, blah. And then the people who are suing the government, they call him on the stand, and then they're like, they give all the evidence, they show all the documented evidence about pregnant women. There's like a whole thing about pregnant women drink more water. Because they drink more water, they retain more fluoride in it, and because of the way the baby absorbs nutrients, they're absorbing doses of fluoride that even the government says is too much, right? And so they ask him, would you recommend pregnant women drinking fluoride or fluoridated water? And he has in the courtroom, he has a noticeable pause where he doesn't say anything.
Right, am I about to perjure myself?
Yeah, he doesn't say anything for a long period of time. And then he says, well, my opinion doesn't really matter in this.
Really? Oh, yeah. So you're the expert opinion.
Yeah, so my opinion doesn't really matter. So I think the most of the people that are actually following the case, it's not a trial. It's not a jury case. It is a judge case. So only a judge is presiding over it. But everybody says that this judge is, for lack of a better term, fair and unbalanced, meaning he's going to actually weigh what everybody's saying.
So not like the lawyer in the Trump case.
No, definitely not like that moron in New York City.
You see him when the camera was still on, he rips his mask. Was he wearing a COVID mask in court?
I don't know.
I thought he was wearing a mask, and he rips his mask off as soon as he thinks the cameras are off, and he does like this little dance.
That sounds about right. Anyway, so it might look like that the federal government's going to lose this case on fluoride.
So the fluoride that they put in the water is not the same fluoride that your dentist used to put on your teeth, although they're saying that causes a lot of issues, also cognitive issues and stuff. But the fluoride they put in the water is a byproduct from the manufacture of aluminum. And up until, it's actually Alcoa, the aluminum manufacturing company, that got a dentist to sign off and say that this shit was so good for you. And that's kind of where, up until then, they had to pay to dispose of it. Like Europe doesn't allow any fucking of that product. They have to take it out and sequester it on islands and it's treated as a hazmat.
Because that's the thing. The crazy thing is, the crazy thing about fluoride in the water is, it is, even for the CDC, it is a hazardous material.
Yeah.
It's a hazardous
when
material.
they're handling it, you see them all jocked up in hazmat suits.
It's a hazardous material, even under CDC rules. But what they say is the amount that is in the water is not hazardous. Now, the problem is this. What they're doing, I see the problem like this. What they are doing is medicating a nation. So it's a medication. It's not a life-saving medication. You couldn't do that with anything else.
So what do they say what do they say it does for you positively?
It keeps your teeth from falling out.
You know it doesn't.
Well,
it's diluted. When you drink it,
we have better teeth than
because you're ingesting it. It doesn't actually sit on your teeth. It does nothing for your teeth when in the water supply. They just have a manner of which they can dispose of it and not have to pay to dispose it. They have turned a waste product into an income source.
And that is why I only drink Diet Pepsi, because it's triple filtered, so there is no fluoride in here, guys.
And currently I am drinking Total War from Redcon 1. And we have an affiliate code. If you buy from Redcon 1 and you use code SOE Gear, that helps support us a little bit for the videos and such that we do.
Does that taste like cotton candy?
I don't know. It's what it's supposed to be, but it tastes really good. This is pink lemonade. I do not identify this as pink lemonade. If you gave this to me, I'm like, I don't know what flavor that is, but it's good.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah, so fluoride in the water, that lawsuit's going on in Florida right now. And it looks like they're doing good. Now, that doesn't mean anything, because what'll happen is even if the government loses, they'll appeal it to another court. It'll be in court for 40 years before.
Think about this too. Like a lot of people are like, okay, I know I don't want to drink fluoride, right? So I'm not going to drink sink water because there's fluoride. I'm going to drink bottled water. All your bottled water also has fluoride in it, guys.
Yeah,
California, over 20 years ago, California said any municipality with over 10,000 population selling bottled water, the bottled water has to be fluoridated also. And most of you guys, you go and you buy a flat of water at Walmart or wherever, and you buy the lesser expensive stuff. Yeah. That comes right out of municipal water district. We had bought water because it wasn't even on my radar. When we were working crews outside and such, we would always have bottles of water here before we had the big Berkeys and stuff in place. And when we read the bottles, they said municipal water district out of Miami, Florida, municipal water district out of somewhere in Arkansas. Sometimes it's Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And that's just sink water. That's literally the same water they're putting in bottles. So be aware of that. Even the Berkey water filter doesn't pull it out. You have to have a secondary filter on that to pull the fluoride out. There's a great movie, if you have any interest in all this, what fluoride actually does to you. There's an amazing movie. It's called Poisoning Our Water. It's 90 minutes long. I have shared this video off YouTube links probably a dozen times, and I'll put a link up, and within a couple of weeks, I'll start getting notifications on that video post, and they're like, hey, this is a dead link. And it'll take me a couple of hours to find it. It's always been buried. They always pull it down. YouTube kills the link to it. But Poisoning Our Water, well worth listening to. Well, it will blow your mind for sure. So are you know about FanFan?
I don't know about
Fing Fong.
I don't know about any Fing Fongs.
Okay, so do you know that in San Francisco they just elected a non-resident and a non-resident, non-English speaking Chinese person,
okay, to
be one of the people in charge of the elections. Have you heard this?
I mean, it makes sense in San Francisco.
Absolutely. Have you seen all the interviews of all the people that come across the border, all the Chinese and stuff? And they ask a bunch of questions, but the one thing the driving, what they're really after is, who are you voting for? And every one of them was like, we're voting for Biden. He let us in here.
Maybe. I'm not concerned about.
Have you seen all the hotels, all the high-rise hotels and stuff?
Mm-hmm. You see the people going apeshit in New York City because they're housing them in the hotels, and they're not doing anything about New York.
So the hotels are at 100% occupancy, mm-hmm. which hotels typically are not, and Homeland Security is paying, or whoever's paying, twice over. So if your hotels are booked out at $250 a night, they're paying $500 a night.
Yeah, because cost means nothing when taxpayers are paying for it.
When it's fake money. And it's not even that the taxpayers, we think they're taking our money and paying it. They're not. They're just fucking creating bullshit money. They steal our money to lower our class. They don't want us encroaching on them. They want slave and they want master. There is no middle class anymore. Melinda in there, right? She's worked for us forever. You know Melinda. We pay her a lot, but she lives pretty impoverished. That's just the choice. That's how she always has been. She said she went to buy chicken strips at the grocery store, and the seasoned chicken, just the raw chicken with seasoning on them, $10 for a bag. She's like, these used to be like $3. It's not like, I was thinking about that today, right? With what we put into our eggs and time and labor and the actual feed bill and everything, an egg should cost $1. It's subsidized, so your egg is $1 and your milk is a couple dollars. And really, the truth is, gas should not cost $2.50 a gallon, right? From where gas comes and everything involved with gas, gas should cost a lot more than it actually costs. Eggs should cost $1 a piece. They don't, but I'll bet you that in the next few years, if we keep on this course, you will see $1 an egg. A pack of eggs will be $12.
Maybe.
It's pretty wild.
The problem with eggs, though, is even you think about just what's going on in over COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with eggs is one of those things that people incentivize. So meaning, as the price of a dozen eggs have gone up, more people are like, well, fuck it. If I just had a chicken, I wouldn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't need to do this. So more people are buying chickens. Same thing will happen if you have $1. If the grocery stores hit $1 an egg, you're gonna have goddamn chickens everywhere in the United States.
Well, and then so we do.
And then the egg people are gonna shit, and people are gonna have to start regulating or enforcing the laws, and
creating more laws,
taking people's chickens away.
Well,
But that will force the price of an egg down.
So are you aware there was a massive attack on chickens and personal ownership of chickens last year?
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, they're talking bird flu, and they want to make it so you can't move chickens across state lines. You can't sell baby chicks. All the chicks coming into Tractor Supply come from hatcheries, right? Not in Tennessee. It is chick time again. They have chicks at the co-ops right now. Yep. Tractor Supply has all their chick stuff set up. So you will. I mean, a lot of people here in the middle of nowhere here got chicks, so much so there is no chicken egg market here. People are literally giving them away.
Yeah.
And not only are they giving them away, they're like, I got 8 dozen eggs I'll give you, and I'll even drive to you. I'll meet you at the Walmart parking lot. You fucking poor motherfuckers.
Still though,
nothing
I mean,
to do.
That's if you want to price control, that's how you do it.
Yeah. You
do it by creating your own market, and then once you create your own market, the industrials will have to lower the price of the eggs. Yes, they will come through and bust up your milk co-op and run over or light your chickens on fire and all that. But in the end, they're going to have to lower the price of the egg because too many people will rebel against their egg bullshit.
Right. I've seen several videos saying, and I haven't fleshed this out and actually verified it, but they're from sources that seem pretty reliable. We are down 90% of the cattle in the United States. We are down to less than 10% of the population of cows for steak and meat in the United States, what it was just 5 years ago.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't notice.
Seems really low.
I don't notice that around here.
Where do you buy steaks from?
Walmart.
Yeah.
I don't see that around here.
Walmart's meat doesn't come from the United States. So if you look, it says a product of the United States. To be labeled a product of the United States, it just has to be packaged in the United States. Weird, because on T-shirts you have to have 3 maneuvers, right? So you have to tag it, bag it, ship it. Those are 3 maneuvers, and they actually raised it to 5 through like the FTC or whatever at one point, because I went after Sean Whalen over that. His shirts, being said made in America or whatever, or whatever. But the meat comes into the United States, and they're saying it comes in from like Nigeria and Brazil and all these other places, but it just says a product of the United States.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the only place to buy meat here.
Do you guys not have a Cash Saver?
Yeah, we have Cash Saver.
So Cash Saver's actually got really good meat, like really good meat, and they actually have a dude in there that cuts those.
Not our Cash Saver, but we do have a Cash Saver.
Okay. So lady working on the floor here that we hired a couple weeks ago, her son is the butcher at Cash Saver, which used to be E.W. James. Yeah.
Well, then I will go to Cash Saver and buy meat.
That's what I do. Last night I just drive it. I can go and pick up ribeyes at the grocery store, bring them home and cook them faster than I can go get clown food. And for less money a lot of times. Like if I was going to go buy, I don't know what it is, fucking a double Whopper cheese, fries, whatever. By the time
$20 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can buy. Last night I bought a cucumber, a sweet potato, and 2 ribeyes, and came home and had that shit ready to eat in like fucking 7 minutes.
I mean, is it wrong? I don't know.
What do you mean wrong?
Well, I mean, you think about it. We have a crazy obesity problem in the United States. And part of the reason why we have a crazy obesity problem in the United States is because fucking McDonald's has had a $1 menu for 100 years, right? It was a point where it was cheaper. It used to be cheaper to buy junk food than to buy something that wasn't junk food. And now it's not. But
that's not out of concern for health.
I know it's not a concern for health, but it's still
simply out of inflation.
If that forces people to eat things that are better for them, maybe it's a good idea.
Do you think they're eating things that are better for them because it costs less?
No, because there's always going to be half off Twinkies. But again, I don't know. It's interesting because if it used to be you could go to McDonald's every day, right? People can't go to McDonald's every day.
Well, because they simply can't afford to.
That's what I'm saying. You can't afford to. Yeah. So that's going to change their eating habits.
So McDonald's is opening 1,000 new stores right now in the United States.
Mm-hmm. I bet most of them are in California too.
Do you know what they all have in common?
They're automated.
They're unmanned.
Yeah, that's unmanned. Right. They were, unfortunately for McDonald's, this is a bold experiment into the new world, but it's not going to work. You're going to have you'll have 2 or 3 stores that'll be in very yuppie, gentrified neighborhoods that are going to do well, right? That are going to do really well. They're going to be clean. They're going to do really well. The rest of them are going to get burnt to the ground.
Have you seen the high-end Taco Bells? So there's one in Nashville. It's an actual sit-down restaurant that plays music and has a bar.
Nice. You know that Taco Bell was the only
Taco Bell
was the only fast food chain that survived the great fast food chain wars.
That's right.
They're the only ones
Demolition
left.
Man.
Taco Bell.
Are you aware of Demolition Man?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, you need to see it because Taco Bell.
I would watch it with you if you want to watch it.
I've seen it probably more than I've ever seen any movie in my life.
Oh, okay.
It's my favorite movie of all time.
Are you fucking with me?
I
like when he breaks into the museum and steals the guns and shit. That's what people like. And I've been saying, I'm like, you know how we always say like they don't make them like that anymore? SOE, we never stopped making them like that. Like you're gonna at the next apocalypse in 200 years, our gear is gonna be used in that war also. After we're long gone, we have our gear is in museums. They will break into museums in the future to get equipment,
legacy equipment.
Yep, we have a ton of gear in the SEAL UDT museum. It's just like when that's what we need. We need SOE gear in the Smithsonian
Legacy Museum. Yeah,
that's what we need to do. Break into the Smithsonian and put SOE gear in the museum.
That would be awesome. The fucking dinosaurs got a fucking rig around them.
Yep, we'll make it for the giraffe. We'll put it on the giraffe.
That'd be cool. Yeah, what were we talking about before that?
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. Taco Bell. Oh, Taco Bell. Yeah, I will go to Nashville and see the fancy Taco Bell.
You want to go?
Yeah, I would love to go to see a fancy Taco Bell. It would be, it would be interesting to see the Taco Bell, how the Taco Bell wars ended.
Brando will know exactly what to order.
What will he get?
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
A beefy 5-layer burrito, no sour cream, chicken quesadilla, add steak.
You know, there's no chicken in there, right? You know that.
I don't care. Whatever the fake is, it tastes great.
None of it's real meat.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the interesting thing about Taco Bell. It's there's like even the taco meat.
It's cricket chow.
There's only 10% of meat in it. Everything else.
What's the rest of the shit?
Probably cricket chow.
Have you seen I saw Yanasa Venture. I didn't watch the video, but he said they've got this. It's called cheap meat, and it's like I think it's 30% meat, and then 70% of it's like rice flour.
Sounds about right.
But they're processing it so that you would think it's like hamburger meat or something.
Sounds about right.
The fuck is wrong with this world?
I don't know. I don't know. We're at a tipping point, I guess.
When's the war start?
We're not going to have a war.
You don't think the war's already started?
We're not going to have a war.
No?
No.
What happens when Mike Obama announces that he's running?
Unfortunately, Mike Obama can't announce that he's running.
Why?
So
what happened? They found out that he killed the chef?
No, the Democratic Party has already picked the nominee.
Who is it?
It's Joe Biden.
What?
It's Joe. The problem for the Democrats. The problem for the Democrats is they force themselves into a corner. They cannot get out of it because even if they, even if Joe quits, like if Joe quits or Joe dies or Joe gets arrested or any of those things that the Democratic Party has to do in order to fucking force Joe Biden out to put somebody else in, it's Kamala Harris. And Camilla's approval rating is worse than Joe Biden's. That's the only reason why they are still, if you ask any fucking Democrat in Washington, none of them are like, Gavin Newsom. None, they're like Joe Biden. Joe Biden. He's going to give his State of the Union address. It's going to be off the chain. Everybody's going to love him. It's Joe Biden because they know that Camilla is worse. They can't have Camilla. And so the problem is those are the incumbents. You can't they can't just go to the Democratic convention and be like, fuck those two. We're going to put Bill and Joe in here and they're going to run for, they can't.
So right now you have a ton of like super liberals.
Yeah.
That are like, yeah, I've left California. It's just too much of a mess, right? And they're like, I can't take any more of this. Yes, I voted for Biden. I hate Trump, but I'm voting for Trump. You have a lot of these, like both sides. It's not just Republicans, but like super wacko liberal. Cut my transgender children, right? Those kind of motherfuckers. But they're like, we're voting for Trump.
I think if you're a liberal, or I think if you're a Democrat, they should. I think that we should intern them in their blue states. They shouldn't be allowed to move anywhere else.
So balkanization of the United States.
Yeah, why not? I think
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I think they should be interned because they're the reason those states have turned to shit.
So my point is, you have all these people from both sides that are like, we're voting for Trump. What's going to happen when Joe Biden wins again? Nothing. The same fucking thing that happened last time.
I don't know. It's the interesting thing is again it's gonna depend on how comfortable people are. The problem for the Republicans is Republicans are comfortable, right? If you think about what's going on in politics or wokeism or any of that shit, Republicans are comfortable. It's the left who is uncomfortable,
right? Because
right?
all of we left, like we're complaining about the cost of food and fuel, but we can still buy food and fuel.
Yeah, it's the left.
The Democrats, they're moving out of their houses. Their shit's being sold, right?
It's the left that is uncomfortable, and because the left is uncomfortable, it's easier for them to get to the streets. Right now, fortunately for America, a bunch of blue hairs and nose rings in the streets doesn't really do anything. But
the blue hairs are going away, right? They can't afford the fucking hair dye anymore.
I'm just saying it's. The left is uncomfortable, and so the left is willing to, get in the streets. Republicans are quasi comfortable, and so I don't know if they just, if we have the election and they're like, "Yay, Biden got another 80 million votes," that we would do anything, because again, the truth of the matter is the fucking Republican Party that is currently elected and currently with their asses in the seats are weak sauce. Mm-hmm. They're fucking weak. They will not go to task with any of this shit.
Or they just ran as Republicans and they are in fact Democrats.
Well, I mean, they're not Democrats. They are, the backside of the mirror, right? They're all in bed with each other. And if any one of them really wanted to do a great service to this country, they'd just pull the curtain back and be like, look, this is what all these motherfuckers are doing. Because they're all, again, I said this before, and I know I single out Crenshaw. And the only reason why I single out Crenshaw is because I expect more from him because of who he is and where he came from. And he's doing the same shit that Nancy Pelosi's doing. He's doing insider trading in order to fucking pad his goddamn wallet. And as a fucking former Navy SEAL that knows about honor, courage, and commitment, he should be the first one to stand up and go, if everyone else can't, if no other American can do this, then we should not be able to do it. And you should stand on the principle of that. And if you can't get, if he can't get it changed, he most certainly shouldn't be joining the club. It's no different than, hanging out with Hillary Clinton and eating a baby. You can't justify it. There's no fucking way you can justify creating a system where you are outside the law that every other American has to follow. That is not why you're there.
Did he lose that eye in combat?
Oh, I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe he did. Yeah, he had to.
Had to, because he had to have 2 to be a SEAL.
Yeah, he had to have lost it in combat.
I was just curious.
He had lost in combat. But again, I expect him to have a higher standard, and he doesn't. He's just like all the rest of them. He's up there fucking stealing from Americans. Just stealing from Americans. He's padding his wallet. He's doing everything he can to get out of there a rich-ass dude, instead of fighting for equality for all Americans. Nobody in Congress should be able to use their position to insider trade or do any of that shit. Anyways.
Are you following any of the Trump trial stuff?
I don't follow
$350 billion.
Yeah, I don't follow any of it because it's a joke. It's not real. It's fucking not real. First off, it's going to get, everybody knows that it's going to get fucking killed in appeal because this judge is a fucking total crony. He's a fucking total wacko crony. And I don't even know how.
Shouldn't he be fucking removed?
He should be removed. But the problem is you have an entire Democratic run state. You have that entire state, the entire city, New York City, that does not follow the law. They don't follow the law. The law is not equal across the board. They are willing to break the law in order to enforce their will and not enforce the law when it needs to be enforced. So, fuck New York City. The reality is fuck that city.
Do you think they actually think that any of that shit's going to actually stick?
It's not about sticking, right? Here's the thing that the Democratic Party is doing. Okay? They fucking know that none of it's going to stick. They know it's not going to stick. But that's not what they want. What they want to do is print in the fucking New York Times, Donald Trump guilty, he's going to have to pay $400 million. That's all they want. Nobody, when this thing goes through to fruition and the next court, the Superior Court that's actually probably going to follow the rules and laws of this country, that's going to throw that case out, is going to be like, this is fucking total horseshit. This is how everybody does business in New York City. I mean, literally the mayor of New York City, all developers, as soon as that case went through, all developers that were in New York City were like, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to get fucked. The fucking mayor of New York City came out and said, hey, guys, we're not coming after you. Mm-hmm. Right? We're not coming after you. That is not fucking that's not how the law works. Right? That's not how the law works. And so if you are going to fucking use if you're going to use your Department of Justice or your prosecutors as some sort of puppet junta that is just going to fucking go after your political opponents, fuck New York City. I hope that fucking place falls into the ocean.
Did you see all the truckers saying they're not going to?
Oh yeah, deliver? Nice.
So the truckers did it, but now you have companies actually, owners saying the same thing.
Nice.
There'll be plenty, and then some politician in New York's like, well, we'll just use migrant labor to drive the trucks.
Go ahead.
Yeah, interesting. Where are those trucks at? Do you own those? I thought you guys. I thought you said no trucks past.
It doesn't take
over 5 years old could come into New York. What trucks are you gonna drive, motherfuckers?
It doesn't take a lot. It won't take a lot for that city to fucking come to a screeching halt. They only have, you guys, New York City only has 24 hours worth of food.
If that.
So come on, truckers, come on. Just park your fucking trucks.
Would you blue collar workers just stop fucking working at your water treatment plants?
Maybe.
That'd be pretty badass.
It would be.
All right, ready to pause?
Are we pausing? What
it's
rhymes with
always.
Say Nazis.
What rhymes with Nazis? Yahtzees in Tennessee.
Snotsy. Yeah.
Snotzies
All the white supremacist Nazis and fucking at the, what was it? It was a rally for some shit. It's always the same. It's always the same Democrat that knows where the Nazis are. It's weird that the Nazis alert the black Democrat where the fucking Nazis are.
It's weird that he knows where all that shit is going on. It's kind of weird. It makes me wonder if he's affiliated. If he's got a link.
Well, he does. He has a link straight to the fucking feds.
I mean, again, guys, Look,
What's the name of the group? What's it called? Liberation Front or some
it's,
bullshit?
You know,
What's it?
Whatever it is. It's an acronym for "We Work for the FBI."
Yeah. No shit. I'll bet it is.
It's an acronym for "We Work for the FBI."
I'll bet it is.
Every single time. The funny thing about these guys, I don't know if you've noticed this.
Same uniform.
Yeah,
Nobody can get near them.
They're all same uniform, and not only can they not get near them,
They come out of secured areas.
but they are. It's not just not getting near them, but they have standoff. They have standoff from the crowd that the president doesn't get. Right? They are because why? Because motherfucker knows. Because people know that if somebody gets a chance to take a whack at one of those dudes, they're going to take a whack at one of those dudes. And you know what you can't have? You can't have a regular citizen hitting a fucking FBI agent up the head with a baseball bat. And that is why those motherfuckers are so protected. Because they're fucking feds. Every one of them. Every one of them gets a fucking check that is signed by the Treasury Department. Fucking, it's the most bullshit. Again,
What am I hearing?
a vehicle approaching. It sounds like it's going right there. You better check.
Probably Cody leaving.
Oh, it could be Cody leaving. Maybe. Yeah, every one of those guys is a Fed. No doubt. If not, again, I know how the FBI likes to operate. They're like, no, those aren't federal agents. They're all fucking confidential informants, right? They're all working for the feds. It's
Probably the
fucking some
same.
horseshit.
Probably the same 13 that tried to kidnap Whitmer.
Yeah, it's just such horseshit, right? It's again, you tell me, hey guys, I'll take the chance. Next time they are parading.
Did they apply
I wonder
for a
would
permit?
it be assault? I think it would be assault. Somebody tell me how much trouble I would get in if I started throwing eggs at those guys. I'll bet you money if I start throwing eggs at those fucking fake Nazis that I will be arrested faster than anyone you've ever seen get arrested. That the police will be like, it'll be lickety split. Like their response, and this is the only reason I want to say that's another indication is because the reality is if Joe Nashville police officer is standing on the street corner going, fuck, I got to stand here for these Nazis again. This is some bullshit. These goddamn Nazis. I don't want to be here for these Nazis. And somebody started throwing eggs at them. I promise you, a real police officer would be like, I'm going to wait till he gets through all those eggs. And then I'm going to go over there and tell him not to throw eggs. But no, I guarantee if you start throwing eggs at these guys, you're going to get arrested faster than anybody you've ever seen get arrested. Probably charged with some sort of heinous crime for throwing eggs at these Nazis. Fuck those guys. Fuck them. And you know what? Hey, and if they are Nazis, fuck them again. Let's go throw eggs at them. But you can't.
Do you think they applied for their permit?
Well, they had to. They had to have a permit because they have a lane. Like they have a secure lane. So did they apply for a permit or did the police was the police department just told to set up this secure lane so these Nazis could
complacent
come march around? It's fucking ridiculous.
It's bullshit. Yeah, it's all horseshit.
It's all horseshit. And even again, let's just pretend for a minute that these guys are legit. Like they sit in their basement at night and
Brandel would have known.
Yeah, they sit in their basement at night and they got their swastikas on and they're Sikh Highland and they're watching old Adolf Hitler and they're all reading Mein Kampf. Let's just pretend that that's true.
None of these guys actually had swastikas or anything, right?
I don't know if they did or not.
Flags, big black flags with swastikas on them.
Black flags, not red and white parade flags or
They
anything?
were wearing black pants with red shirts, hoods, and black hoods.
Were they? I thought I saw a video where they were all wearing fucking tan again.
Hey,
The black guy with the dreads. Okay, I see it.
Are their faces all covered?
Yeah, but
That's a different angle too. When I saw them coming, they were coming left or right.
Hey, that's the other thing too. Go ahead and look at any white nationalist, Aryan Nation, Brotherhood, Nazi gathering you've ever seen in the last 20 years. You know what you're going to see? None of them wearing masks. None of them wearing masks.
True.
You could go to David Duke's house. You could go to his house. I bet you can't go to any of their houses. I bet nobody knows where they live because it's bullshit.
That's true.
Bullshit.
Anytime you watch, like I watched some black dudes, black preacher or something that interviews a bunch of like KKK guys wanted to go to the church. And they're like, no, you can't go to the church, but it's right up here and shit. None of those guys were masked up. You're right.
Yeah, it's because it's bullshit. These guys are federal agents trying to stir up I don't know what they're trying to stir up. But again, let's just pretend that they're legit. Right? Let's pretend that those are real guys that think that Adolf Hitler is going to, I don't know, rise from the grave or some bullshit.
Is that what they believe?
I don't know what they believe because they're not real. There's no such thing as Nazis anymore, guys. The Nazis, we killed all the Nazis at the end of World War II.
Well, I mean, they run the World Economic
Forum. The political party as a whole is dead, so there's no such thing as Nazis.
There's some in Ukraine.
These are guys that are just, even the dudes in Ukraine, they're just playing. It's dress up. It's not real. It's dress up. They march around. It's just dress up because there is no Nazi party anymore. So it is 100% just dress up. If these guys are legit, how many people were there? 20? That is not even worth time, money, and energy that was put into the police department being out there. It's not even worth it. That's not, you shouldn't, it shouldn't even make, 20 Nazis should not even make the news, right? It shouldn't make the news. It really shouldn't. There's going to be more people killed in Chicago this weekend than there were all the Nazis that were in Tennessee. So just ridiculous. Anyways, that's my Nazi rant. What do you think?
I think they're feds.
Yeah, I think they're feds too. They're just too. It's too.
I think that most everything that's being put
cookie-cutter.
forth is manipulation, right? The big thing right now that we keep hearing every couple of days, it keeps getting re-amplified, is that somebody in the White House or federal government will say Chinese cyber attackers are attacking the water grid in Camden, Tennessee. Like, really? Out of all the places, they're just attacking these small little municipalities. All the power is going to go out. Oh, I believe it. I believe all the power will go out, but I don't think it's fucking China.
Yeah, it's not China.
I think, you know where the power is going to go out? Where you fucking Trump voters are. That's where the power is going to go out. I'm worried about your government, not their government.
It's just like, I don't know if you saw it last week, the National Security Advisor came out and was like, crazy ass news. We're going to declassify it, and everybody in Congress needs to get briefed. And it's just oh my God, we gotta deal with this shit. It's crazy. It has to do with space. And then didn't say shit after that. And there was all these fucking like kind of queries of what would happen. And then they had the shooting. They had the parade shooting, and everybody stopped talking about it. And the big thing that the national security advisors were freaking out about was they said that Russia has nuclear capability in space. And they're making a big deal about it. Guys, the Russians have had nuclear capability in space since the goddamn 80s. So when you have national security advisors saying there's a big deal because Russia has nuclear capability in space, and they're making a big deal about it now, that to me is a fucking red flag. Right? That's a red flag. That's like, oh shit. Is the United States planning on dropping a fucking bomb on itself in order to do whatever it needs to do to fucking quell this election?
That's how all the prepper fiction books go.
I mean, I don't know. That's a fucking real red flag for me because...
And we've always said, I mean, everybody's like, the president, Biden's been bought by the Chinese. Why would they not do that? You have a small power that could wipe out much of the United States and then kind of rebuild under their own guises, right? That's all the prepper fiction books are somebody or the shadow government or some little faction within the government EMPs the United States.
Yeah. So that freaks me out a little bit that they're talking about it because, again, the Russians have had nuclear capability in space since the 80s, so this is not new information, so why are you making a big stink about it? It's kind of like when they made a big stink about Ukraine, and they were like, oh my God, the Russians are going to use biological weapons in Ukraine. And then, wait a minute, those biological labs are all ours, right? It's just, I don't know. Our fucking government has lost its mind. Like, really, again, when I said earlier, I don't think the government has the capability of doing anything legit, like real, even long term.
You don't think they could turn the power grid off in some manner?
No, I 100% believe that there's somebody that could turn the power grid, like that they could be like, we're going to shut the power off. Okay, we're going to shut the power off. But what I'm saying is, as a government organization, as the wheel turns of government organizations, none of those motherfuckers know why they're shutting the power off, or nobody knows what's going to happen when the power gets shut off, or they don't even know the reason why they're turning the power off.
What would you do if the power went off right now?
Right now? Just go home. I mean, what? Just go home.
And then what's your next move?
Watch TV.
No, there's no power.
No, we have power. I have power.
There won't be any TV.
I can hook my DVD player up and I'll be fine in a power out scenario that lasts less than a month.
Think it'll last a month? As soon as those new plants start melting down and shit.
I don't think so. I don't think we're, as a country as a whole, I don't think we're out of power for a month. There's too many. Again, who runs the fucking power grid? Who runs the power grid? It's not fucking woke motherfuckers that are climbing up there fixing those lines. It's fucking red-blooded Republicans that are out there fucking fixing those lines. Yeah, there's some blue hairs in there, but again, I see a bunch of hard-working fucking roll-up-your-sleeve dudes that are going to figure out why the power's out, and then they're going to be like, oh, it's those assholes in the NSA. And then they're going to reroute it a little bit and turn the fucking power back on.
Think so?
Yeah. Yeah. We're good at that. We're, again, first off, America's huge. It's fucking huge. People don't understand how big it was. When the first German POWs came over here into the United States and they brought them, there's actually a pretty good book written about this. They brought these POWs over here in Camden, Tennessee, or Paris, Tennessee, right? Paris, Tennessee. And they knew that they knew as they drove across this country and saw how big fucking America was, they're like, yeah, there's no fucking way Germany can win this war. Like they knew when they brought those POWs knew that that the war was over. And it wasn't even close to over when we started bringing those POWs here. So anyways, yeah, the United States is huge. People just don't understand how big it is and, what a million fucking red-blooded Americans can do when they set their mind to it. And even the fucking, it's one of those things. Do you think the woke crowd, the liberal Democrats, do you think they want to sit in the dark? They certainly don't want to sit in the dark because they have no fucking clue what to do in the dark, right? They don't want to sit in the dark. They'll be the first ones. Hey, the fuck is going on? Where's my bread and milk? You know what I'm saying? I don't worry about. Maybe I should worry about that. I'm more worried about like we talked about before. I'm more worried about the fucking the bio labs that they're fucking opening up all over the United States. That's more worrisome because, again, even 300,000. Let's say 1 million immigrants with guns. For most of America, that's a goddamn weekend hunting trip. That's all that is. It's a weekend hunting trip with a prominent target that will be identified very easily and segregated and sorted and weighed and measured and be done with on a weekend.
Have you seen all the migrants attacking citizens? Have you seen all that going on?
Yeah.
And then a lot of them seem to have guns.
Well, I don't know about that.
They're pushing people onto subway tracks and train tracks and all kinds of shit. It seems like it's happening. I'm sure it happens multiple times a day, but they're definitely amplifying it. They're showing it, or somebody is showing it.
Well, you can't expect someone who has come here illegally to suddenly be legal.
Especially
or
once
to act in a manner that is legal.
And a lot of them, right, they have these debit cards from the United Nations, or they have a card kind of like an EBT card, but they can be spent on anything, and they get $1,200 a month or something. And now, like 90 days in, they're turning these cards off. So you have these people that have been here, and they've been able to get food, and they've been handed free lodging and such, and now all of a sudden, at 90 days, boom, no more money. And they also can't work. So there's this whole path to freedom fucking act they're trying to push through today. I think it's supposed to go forward to where you can get citizenship by joining the military. They want these people. It's called Hero Path or something. I don't remember what it's called. Brave Path. So they want to let them go to the military, which, whatever, more power to them. But you have all these single combat age males who are here in a country and cannot work and do not work, and they've just been housed, they've been warehoused in these, and they're tearing these hotels up. You've got fucking sexual abuse going through the roof, and now they are predatorily going out. There's rapes happening all in the United States and all these immigrant friendly zones, whatever they're called, and you have these assaults happening.
Well, it's
in larger numbers.
We just haven't got to the tipping point yet.
Yeah, you've got 3 dudes holding a woman down, taking turns on her out on public street, like in the city.
We just haven't got to the tipping point yet.
So where's that point? What's that pushover? What's the catalyst?
That's the interesting thing about it. You don't know what's going to stir the mob. The truth is, again, I'm going to go back to this. We are so comfortable, and we are so willing to accept things that don't affect us. So meaning, okay, if some crazy motherfuckers in San Francisco are beating up elderly women in San Francisco, it's so easy for the rest of the country to accept that as whatever, fuck San Francisco, right? Until it happens in your own backyard, it's easy to accept the pain of other people in the country. But eventually something will happen. Eventually it'll be, I don't know. Eventually someone is going to get hurt where the mob will be like, it's time to fucking fix this. And, it's much better if the government fixes it and starts fucking throwing these people back to where they came from than to have the mob fix it. Because when the mob fixes it, they're going to hurt everybody. They're not really going to care. It's going to be a total racist issue in the sense of that's how they're going to pick out who gets hurt, and it's not going to matter. And ultimately, it's going to be your fault. Like, we'll use Chinese as an example because you mentioned Chinese come across the border. If 100,000 Chinese come across the border and a bunch of them start doing shit that puts you on the skyline, guess what, 100,000 Chinese? That's your fault. You're allowing those people to make you look bad, which you shouldn't. You should police your own goddamn sectors and make sure that you can all live here peacefully and happily as illegal Americans. Because if you don't police them, then the mob's going to police them, and the mob don't care. The mob's just going to, it doesn't have time to go through and decide who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. The mob will just police everybody.
Think you'll see that violence before the election?
I don't know. I would assume that we would already have some stuff going down right now.
You think maybe we don't? It's just not being reported?
No, I don't. It can't be. Because I promise you, the first time a Republican, a right-leaning individual does something, I mean, if somebody on the right slaps somebody in the street because of the election, it would be national news. Everybody would be talking about, oh, the fucking right is out of control. They slapped Bill Maher on the street. You know what I'm saying? If the right was doing anything, it would be on every major news channel.
Did you see the shooter at the Super Bowl or at the Super Bowl celebration afterwards?
Meaning
wasn't there 3 of them?
Yeah, supposedly there was 3 of them.
What did they look like?
Oh, they can't show their faces because they were under the age of 18.
But they showed Rittenhouse.
Yes. They showed Rittenhouse. They showed your boy from Colombia, the Indian, making fun of the Indian. He didn't make fun of the Indian.
I don't even know who we're talking about.
The kids that were on the
drum?
Yeah.
Native American guy?
Yeah.
That was all horse shit.
Yeah, of course it was
like all horse shit. They weren't.
Yeah, that kid won millions of dollars.
Yeah. But the Rittenhouse thing, somebody told me, who was it? Somebody told me they were sitting at SHOT Show. Angry American. I was on live with Angry American yesterday, and he said, hey, we were at SHOT Show, and I was sitting at the bar. I think it was him that was saying this. And he said this kid came up and just started talking, and they were talking for a few minutes, and he's like, this kid didn't even look like he was old enough to be at the Circle Bar at the hotel, and it was Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Angry American that was telling me this.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Weird reason to be famous, but again, that's the example right there. Is if it's on the left, they're.
So my understanding, it wasn't just the left. They were illegally in the country. They had firearms. Where did they get the firearms? So much for your fucking your gun shit. It wasn't a legally abided citizen that had these things. They shouldn't have been fucking armed. And they shot a bunch of fucking. Who'd they shoot? What did the victims look like?
I don't know. Because again, whatever. It doesn't affect me, right? It's not a thing that I'm concerned about because the reality is
What are you concerned about?
I'm concerned about my concern really is the same thing I've always been concerned about, and that's that 90-day virus. Every day since the Wuhan virus, the Chinese, Americans, and every other country in the world has been doing everything they can to manipulate that virus. Yeah. And the goal is to make it more deadly.
So apparently there's a virus out there right now that's supposed to be some new thing, COVID-ish. You have all the symptoms, but it's way worse. It lasts for 3 weeks, and you don't test positive for COVID. It is not testing positive on the COVID tests. I saw some content about this last night, some people talking about this going around. So I think something's here.
Well, the problem is we have an elite class. We have an elite class now. There is this elite class that, because they feel like they are, because they feel like they are the elite class and they are all for depopulation of the earth, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if fucking Bill Gates was like,
release the
virus, guys. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. I mean, he is fucking, those people are Dr. Evils, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if that's what they did. So that's why that worries me, because a lone individual can be the trigger point for that. a lone individual could be the trigger point for that. So that's the only reason why that worries me. For revolution to happen in this country, it's going to take a lot of shit to happen.
All right. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think we should all just have motorcycles and run.
Motorcycles and run.
Through the woods.
Sidecars. Smart cars, lifted smart cars.
Lifted smart cars.
Did you see the PT Cruiser I sent you?
I sent it to you.
No, I sent it to you.
No, it's a K5 Chevy Blazer with a PT Cruiser. I did get it from you. I sent it to a bunch of people. And Evan from Radio Made Easy said that's the best PT Cruiser I've ever seen.
I know.
But to have something cool like that, it's always on a Toyota or a K5 Blazer.
He's never been to a PT Cruiser meet.
Or a smart car festival.
Yeah, you got to go to a PT Cruiser meetup, and then you'll see all kinds of crazy shit, because those people, the PT Cruiser, they go deep. Like it's like the Chevy Impalas of the white world.
So do you think it's possible to live in a manner where none of this shit affects you?
To a certain extent.
Or do you think that you're just living your life and boom, some shit affects you?
I think you're just living your life, and again, to a certain extent. Like we have made the conscious decision to move to a place that is relatively small in size and nature. And, there are some things that we suffer for because of that. But the reality is, when it comes to anything on a national scale, New York City will burn to the ground before we are like, what the fuck? Oh, man, I guess the power's off.
Dude, if I hear New York City, if I wake up in the morning and, hey, did you see all this shit in Virginia yesterday? They said a 500-pound propane tank went off, a 500-gallon propane tank, right? Dude, when you saw the aerial view of this motherfucker, I sent it to you, right? Dude, it looked like miles of fucking Virginia was on fire. There was fucking emergency vehicles. Like if you put a drone up on the interstate as far as you could see, there was some shit going on yesterday in Virginia. And they're like 500-gallon. It's like when you see the whole city block has been evaporated and they're like, gas leak. Maybe. Or maybe not. So how long? So if I wake up tomorrow morning and I hear California's falling in the ocean, I don't give two shits. Like, I literally don't fucking care. I wish Mick Strider and the guys would have moved here when we told them to, but hey, we told you to get out of California, motherfuckers.
If California, so the problem with a disaster like that is
the ports and
but if California just I don't know, some crazy earthquake and it just fell into the ocean.
Yes.
Realistically, it wouldn't affect us at all.
No. And if I woke up and they're like, New York is fucking on fire, all of it, I'm like, I don't fucking care.
There'd
I
be
just
some
don't.
really,
I just don't care.
there'd be some really, really rich people in Las Vegas
Right.
because of all that,
Right.
where the new port would go.
Get out of the fucking cities while you can. Don't wait till you're fucking 35, 40 years old to do it. I have a dude on live last night, and he's like, I'm finally taking your advice, and I'm starting a business, and my wife took me for $450,000, and I just don't know what, it's kind of late for me to start. I'm like, but you're starting. Don't focus on the wife. Go get you a new girl. The truth is, if you're a 50-year-old man and you're even halfway successful, you know who wants you? A 30-year-old woman. Because the 50-year-old woman who you feel is on par with you, you know who she wants when she's out cougaring around? She wants a 30-year-old dude, right? She wants the more in shape guy, whereas the younger woman wants a more successful, more stable, has some finances, and can fucking support you. So stop talking about what the ex did and talk about what you're doing, right? Build yourself, and that's the thing, man. So many people, even out here, there's tons of dudes we know that have all kinds of fucking fuel cans and shit. There's no fucking gas in them. Right. There's all kinds of people with all this water, all these water tanks, and there's no fucking water in them, right? They're not hooked up to anything. And all of this shit that we seemingly discuss and do, most of it's free. Like, you can do some shit. Like, we're always talking about what we can't do because we don't have the finances, or the level that we can't do it at because we don't have the money or whatever. There's a ton of shit you can do. So just fucking do something. Anything. Just do something. Go get some seeds, put them in some fucking dirt somewhere, and see what grows out of them. You're planning to plant this huge garden, and you've had all these seeds that you buy seeds every year, and every year goes by and you haven't planted any of these seeds. Take those fucking seeds and sprinkle them around on the ground and see what fucking comes up.
See what comes up.
Something will grow somewhere.
It'll be a lot of corn.
Yeah, my corn. We grew a lot of corn this year, and I didn't get any corn.
It'll be a lot of corn.
Yeah, Jack's like, I don't know. The corn looks good, but I don't know if you're going to get any corn. Because I tried to do it in raised beds, right?
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. Jack was right.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jack knows. He's a corn guy.
He does. He's a corn guy.
He's a corn guy. Is he a corn guy, or would he be a railroad guy that does corn?
He said as soon as they legalize marijuana, that's what I'm growing.
Yeah, the problem with that is...
He did cotton. He had a lot of cotton.
Yeah, he did cotton. But the problem with that is if as soon as they legalize marijuana, but then everybody's going to do it. Weed, and then it won't be
Everybody
worth shit.
lost their ass on the hemp thing.
I
know a lot of dudes like, I'm about to be a millionaire. I'm like, okay, what's your second plan?
Yeah.
Well, I don't need a second. I'm like, I'm just telling you. Don't mortgage your home for this.
Yeah, because Jack has a big farm.
1,000 acres.
He's got a big farm, but there are corporate farmers that would definitely do the same thing. Stop growing fucking corn and start growing goddamn weed. And
so I saw a thing this morning that a lot of the corn is not getting planted. The ground is sitting. Is it called farrow? Farrow, where they don't do anything. They just because we have some water right treaty with Mexico. A lot of water gets pumped from Mexico up north, and they're not fucking sending the water that's supposed to be sent, and the government's not doing anything about it. So a lot of these lands are not being fucking irrigated.
I don't know, man. I know Jack's got... Does he have... Is it time yet? I don't know. It's not time yet.
I bet it is. It's pretty close, man.
His was... I believe he says April 15th.
I always heard him say, don't plant a garden until right after Easter.
Yeah, I believe
you're always safe after Easter.
Because you don't want to get hit with that
frost.
That crazy-ass Tennessee weather where it's sunny and 80 and the next day it snows.
Dude, we had sunny. We had 70 degrees, and then it was 28 degrees the next day.
Yeah, that night. I don't know if you remember that night. It was like a couple weeks ago where it was a beautiful day, and then the thing was like, "Hey, it's going to snow tonight." I'm like, "It is not going to fucking
it did snow
tonight."
too, didn't it?
It did snow. I was like, "Oh shit, this is awesome!" I was out playing in the snow at 9 o'clock at night. It's awesome. That's the beautiful thing about Tennessee. And then the next day, it all melted and was gone.
All right, guys. Awesome. This has been podcast episode 62. We come on here and we talk about these things, and we have a lot of fun doing them. But the truth is, we can all do something, right? Most of the stuff, Jack Spirko Survival Podcast, I got from him a long time ago. Does it affect the temperature of the water in your pool, right? We can talk about all the turmoil going on around the world, but do we actually see it, right? If we didn't turn on the Babylonian rectangle of death, the cell phone, would you ever know that it was happening? And I like to say war within arm's reach. And I got that from an old friend of ours named John Butler. He used to say war within arm's reach. Can I touch it? Can I feel it? Can I see it? And can I change it, right? And there's a lot of things that we can change no matter where you are. You can grow some food. You can take some control of your life. You can start an alternate business where you do business in cash, right? Nobody knows you have it. Every time we move money digitally, money is taken and stolen from you at a greater rate. So just keep that in mind when we do these podcasts and we talk about these things. And I love the conspiracy theory stuff, but does it add to you, right? We could sit for 48 hours and research this and have these great episodes and do all this stuff, but what does it give to you? And what can you actually do if you just turn off the social media and actually do something?
Do something, anything.
I think that's the big takeaway.
Hey, go to the gym. Go to the gym. Go shoot a gun.
Fitness is free.
Start eating right. And prepare some food. I say that you should have 90 days worth of food at your house.
I say you should have 90 years worth of food.
For you and your family. And just be prepared. Because, again, this might be like the YK2 fiasco, where everybody thinks the world's going to fucking implode, and then this election happens and nothing happens.
We were ready. It was fun leading up to it.
Yeah, but again, if something does happen, even if it's something little, like, I don't know, the supermarkets stop shipping food, or the power goes out, or the fucking water shuts off, even if it's something little, if you've prepared, then it's going to be no big deal for you. Do you want to endanger your family? And what I mean by endangering your family is if you got to fucking go to Costco and fight some old lady for some toilet paper, you're endangering your family, because it only takes one little nick, one little stab, one little cut for you to no longer be valuable to your family. And when I speak about your family, don't forget them. They're an important part of that. They're an important part of your tribe. Make sure they know how to do all the shit too. Right? Your kids, your wife, they need to know how to fucking apply a tourniquet. They need to know how to use a pressure dressing. They need to know how to handle a firearm. I'm not saying your wife needs to be John Wick, but she definitely needs to know how to manipulate it. So if the time comes that you're in fucking Nashville fighting some old lady over a fucking 12-pack of toilet paper, and the boogeyman comes, that she can use that weapon system without you being present, or your children can use that weapon system without you being present.
Or better yet, they all have their own weapon system.
Yeah, that's even better, because it's all about the manipulation. Understanding how to manipulate and use that firearm is the most important thing. You don't need to be able to fucking roll and jump out of trees and fucking fast rope at helicopters. You don't need to do any of that shit.
It helps.
You just need to know how to load it, unload it, clear malfunction, and fire it in the general direction.
Unload it. Don't you just shoot it? Like pull the trigger 19 times and it's unloaded?
That's how the Packies used to unload their rifles.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, they would clear them out in the barrel. Boom, 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 boom.